would you download FIFA 21? How about downloading your entire coursework? Or you do all at the same time? See, Surfline has a way of giving you value like no one does. 50 gigabytes free data when you get yourself a Surfline device. Now that's a sledgehammer. Don't miss out on anything. Get yourself a Surfline device today from any Surfline shop and get 50 gigabytes free data to do all you ever wanted on Ghana's only true 4G LTE network.
Surfline, it's about time.
Misika and Sukatia Robert. And also answer estate 9. Now so pardon me. Timothy, me Chinese me petty and me Chinese swatch. I do cream is so bad idea. I'm not easy cry. 3 city pack. 3 city so dear kwame. It will be semi share I do creamy gummy tea and I'm kokomua. Jai. Yeah! I take down crown father.
Book store. I do creamy for fry. The light blue was in saying one air such. Ed, Nani Bonso da fem. FD Ashisa, it getting crack to him. I just say.
This December holidays, there are only 2 things involved. It's either you are happy or you are not. If you are happy, you are safe. But if you are not, there's only one thing involved. Join the Happy Gang to laugh, sing and dance as we celebrate the end of a tough year at the night of 1,027 laughs and music. Featuring comedy heavyweights Bobby, Oke Bakassi, Acapella, Obi Amponsa, Lexi the Comic, and Foster Romano. Also rocking the stage are Kiddy and Diana Hamilton. It will be a night of rip-cracking comedy and good live music in a socially distanced and exclusive layout. Limited tickets are on sale at 250 Ghana Cedis Premium and 400 Ghana Cedis VIP at Charterhouse and Nalem stores. For tables, call 0501 288 520. The night of 1,027 laughs and music. Boxing Day, 26th December, 8 p.m. Grand Arena at the Conference Center. Proudly brought to you by the Grand Arena and Charterhouse.
Fellow Ghanaians, how would you want to end an eventful year?
To stay home,
keep safe, and still have a good time
at the MTN Festival of 9 Lessons and Carols.
Yes, let's climax this year with a bang as we sing and make merry at the MTN Festival of 9 Lessons and Carols. Let's have a jolly good time with the sensational MTN Viva Voices, El Dunamis Choir, MTN Hitmaker Proteges, Curl Songs, Last Mid, Adipa, and the award-winning Kwame Eugene. So, on the 18th of December at 7 p.m., make a date with us on Facebook and YouTube for an unforgettable night. Stay home, keep safe, and enjoy a night of pure bliss.
We day for you everywhere you go.
Son, we are so proud of you for setting up this hospital. I really love those hospital beds and waiting chairs. By the way, did you import them?
No, Dad, I didn't. I actually got them from Kindle Books and Stationery right here in Ghana.
Wow. We also bought our office supplies, safes, executive desks and chairs from Kingdom, and they gave us expert advice on how to set up our office.
Guys, that makes 3 of us. I also got our sofa and bedroom sets, plus our dining hall furniture for our new home from Kingdom.
Wow, Mom, that makes 4 of us. I usually get my stationery items from Kingdom, and my teacher also mentioned that our classroom furniture was provided by Kingdom.
So there you have it. Whenever you're thinking about setting up an office or acquiring furniture for your home, etc., Kingdom Books and Stationery should be your first point of call. With over 40 years experience in the industry, we stock and supply a wide variety of globally sourced office and home furniture, stationery and equipment. Visit our head office, Osu Akwaje, or our office near the Osu Stadium. We're also in Tema Community 1, opposite Olam SHS, Kumasi KNUST campus, UCC Cape Coast, and now at the Marina Mall, Airport City. Or call us 0302 764101, 764209, or 762792. Visit our website www.kingdomgh.com.
We know
know it's important to create a productive and supportive working environment by investing in your employees' health. With a leading international track record, Apex Health Insurance is regulated and licensed by the National Health Insurance Authority to provide medical insurance services to institutional clients, families, and individuals. Apex Student Package and International Medical Solutions are all here to cushion you. Visit Apex Health Insurance Office at Zion House, Boundary Road, Shiashi, or call
0501 683 914
or 0232 000 015. In Kumasi, we are located opposite Prempeh College, Sofo Line, and in Takrady, Apex Health, your preferred health insurer.
Jack, if nobody will give you anything this Christmas, cry. Samsung dare your back. Hey, do penny. Every Samsung shop you enter, whether you are in the north or in the south, we are giving you free gifts with every Samsung device you buy. Gina Hoji and Kasa. Buy any Samsung mobile phone. That one alone be too much flex. Then in addition, you will get gifts ranging from free screen repair vouchers, wireless chargers, battery packs, phone covers, screen protectors, t-shirts, and many, many more. Papa, bring yourself the trust. Come on, it's like Samsung they sponsored the bringer this year. You know they see, make you know slack cry. Terms and conditions apply.
And you are live on Ghana Connect. It's on Joy 99.7 FM. My name is Evans Mensah. Listen, we are all coming to terms with the outcome of the December 7 elections. One of the biggest things we all need to get used to is the nature, just the architecture, the construct of this new parliament that we are going to have for the next 4 years. I've just been struggling myself as a journalist with the terminologies going to the next 4 years. Right now, it's very easy to say the minority side of the House, and you know simply you're talking about the NDC side, or the majority side of the House. In fact, we have the majority leader. It's part of the actual official terminology. And then we have the majority leader. But guess what? In the next parliament, can you say the minority leader or the majority leader? Because that will actually be wrong to say that, factually inaccurate, because both sides have 137 seats each. So none of the parties is the minority or the majority. So how do you describe the leaders of the parties? Well, think about that. That's one. Secondly, so when I want to say the NDC side, this time I'll just say the minority side. So what do I say in the next parliament? I can't say the minority side or the majority side anymore, because NDC or MPP, they both don't have majority or minority. They are equal partners in this game. So how do you describe that? This is just at the level of terminologies, right? I mean, does even the standing order of parliament factor in this sort of parliament? I wonder, because in the standing order is the term majority and minority. It's in there. I guess they didn't think that the time will come when they won't have a minority or majority. Okay. So that is just one of the things we all need to come to terms with. But in a bigger scheme of things, it also comes down to how parliament does business, how government does its business through parliament. But at the heart of all this is the decision you made to vote for this, because this is your decision. You decided on December 7 when you entered the booth that you're going to vote for a hung parliament. It is your decision. One by one, collectively, the almost 14, 15 million people who voted make that decision to vote for this parliament. But why? I want to understand what went into that decision. Already today, that conversation has been happening across the board here on your superstation Joy 99.7 FM. A few of you have some thoughts to share. Listen.
I think we are all seeing it as a good thing, because when it's balanced, we know there will be few things that will be debated in Parliament as well. But you know, the bigger evil is that when there is a policy and then they are not able to come to a conclusive decision or a pinpoint conclusion, it would derail development.
I would have been happy if the independent candidate would have remained installed independent. Yeah, to me, I feel like he has cheated himself. Sure, going to declare his stand. No, he should have still remained independent. He always decide where he should go. When he feels like he's going to favor the nation, he votes yes. When he doesn't favor, he votes no. From there, the politician will take everything serious, and people will be more interested voting for an independent candidate.
I would have wished that the independent parliamentarian will carry himself as independent without joining any of their sides, so that he will be the decider of whatever policies that the government will want to, bring to the parliament. So that sometimes he will go this way, and another time he goes the other way.
With this current parliament that you are having, I think it will be a very interesting following parliamentary issue, and I'm going to follow it keenly.
Here we go. So already interest in the next parliament for those who didn't even care about it. All of a sudden, they are rekindled. They just want to pay attention to it more and see how it plays out. I guess that then leads to that simple question we are asking. It's a powerful question if you consider it, because was it a conscious decision that we all made that we wanted this kind of parliament? Well, we are connecting with a host of people tonight. Ras Mubarak is Member of Parliament for Kumbungu. He is not going to be part of this deliciously poised next Parliament, but he has an experience in the old Parliament. And one of the key reasons why I think he should be part of this conversation, because simply, was it people's disillusionment with the way this old Parliament that is about to exit and be phased out? Was it your disillusionment with Ras Mubarak's parliament, as in the 7th parliament, that moved you to vote the way you voted for a hung one? Maybe you were dissatisfied with Ras Mubarak and his colleagues, and that they were too, respectful and doing the bidding of the executive government, that you just didn't want that anymore, and so you wanted to put in a bit more of a complicated dynamic. And so he's here to tell us his own view on this as he looks back on his performance to collectively as a house, and then look forward to a house that he can now sit back and observe. He joins us in the studio. Hello, Ras.
Good to see you, Evans.
Good to see you too.
Beautiful studios. I see a lot of
thank you very much.
Changes. I haven't been here in quite a while.
Quite a while, yes. We're happy to have you. I'm going to be joining you over there shortly.
Wonderful.
Yes. And so, yes, that's Ras. He's in the studio with me. Force is called, but Mr. Sapon will join us shortly. He's a UK-based Ghanaian journalist. See, the term hung parliament is one that we're borrowing from the UK system, right? I'll tell you how the official parliament, UK parliament, defines it and see if it suits what is going to play out in the next 4 years. He's watched that process quite unfold keenly in the UK. He's agreed to join us. Normally you hear him join us on Ghana Connect from UK, but I'm told he's in town. He's going to join us in the studio shortly, so we can pick his brain on that also. He's also a Ghanaian, by the way. He may have voted it last week. So he's interesting. He has the best of both worlds, and maybe he's one of those who wanted this to happen. We'll get his thoughts shortly. Metal Nunu is the leader of the Teshi Residents Association. Hello, Metal.
Hello, Evans.
Great. I said Teshi because that is Lejokuku, correct?
Lejokuku, yeah.
And Lejokuku, I guess, is the place that they vote skirt and blouse more than anybody else.
Oh, not really.
But you voted skirt and blouse again this year.
Not really, but in the last 2 year elections, we've seen a lot of skirt and blouse, and there are lots of factors that account to that. So
yeah, you did it again, by the way. You voted for the NDC guy.
NDC presidential candidate John Mahama.
So now you are aligned. You voted for both.
Skirt and blouse, because if you look at the gap between John Dramani Mahama and Nana Akufo-Addo, it was wide. But if you look at the parliamentary, it was close, because incumbent MP Dr. Koboy lost to just about 1,800 and something.
And that is why I wanted you here, because the Jukuku is a test case of this hung parliament, really, because your history shows it. You don't play when it comes to your members of parliament.
We don't play
at all. So I want to hear your view shortly. We'll come to the conversation. I want to hear why you voted for this hung parliament shortly. We'll also be joined on the phone by MP-elect for Adenta, Mohammed Ramadan. Hello, Mr. Ramadan. Oh, we lost him. I was going to just say congratulations to him, but he joined us. He's on the line. He'll get him back shortly because I'm curious. He's one of those new faces going into this hung parliament. He's a beneficiary of your decision to have a hung parliament. I'm curious to know, does that change his ambitions and the way he would approach business in the next parliament? He'll join me shortly. Agnes Namomo is also MP elect for Krowo. She's also going into the new parliament. She also will join us shortly. Sheila Bartels is also. Benedict Kwaku is a resident of Adenta. Listen, wherever you are tonight, I want you to get in touch with us, answering the simple question, why you voted for a hung parliament. This is how you can join us.
Join us now on Twitter, hashtag Ghana Connect Live, Facebook, Joy 99.7 FM, or send us a WhatsApp on 0244 340 437 and we will call you back. Join the nation's biggest conversation now and connect to authority.
Okay, and understand that we have now Mr. Ramadan. Hello, Mr. Ramadan.
Hi, Evans.
Hey, nice to hear your voice.
Good to hear your voice as well.
Congratulations, I guess are in order.
Thank you very much.
Great to have you. I mean, before I even come into the conversation, have you come to terms yet with that stunning victory of yours?
Well, it's still sinking in. It was a very good one. My party people worked very hard. The good people of Adenta gave me a very decisive mandate, and I'm very grateful to them. And I pray that we'll be able to live up to the expectation and not disappoint them.
Fantastic. Well said. I'll come to you shortly about this conversation. Ras, you want to say something to him?
Yes, congrats, bro. He's actually my MP in Accra.
Oh, you live there?
Yes, I live in his constituency.
Interesting.
And
then Ras, I'll certainly
it's quite exciting that he's made it. It was quite expected, though, contrary to what you said earlier. I mean, Adenta has a history of regurgitating.
I am happy to eat humble pie.
That's your constituency.
Yeah, Mr. Ramadan, we were having a conversation. I'm like, no, I mean, if you look at it, he's done it before, and then you proved all of us wrong. I'm happy to be on the wrong end of conversation sometime, and this is the one of those wrong ends for me, and I'm delighted that, of course, you've come into a hung parliament. So stay with me. We'll come to the conversations. Ras, thank you for bringing that to my attention. I'm eating humble pie tonight. Also joining me is my friend from Lekma. In fact, I want to start with you on this conversation. You voted for a hung parliament, right? Why?
Yeah,
personally, I want to hear your personal. When you enter the booth to cast your ballot, forget about the presidential, parliamentary, you're voting for a hung. Why?
Yeah, the presidential is different because
not talk about the presidential. I want to talk about the parliamentary.
Contact with them, but with regards to the parliamentary candidates, you live with them and you see them. So if they don't perform well or they do things that the constituents are not okay with, it's going to affect them. If you take Leja Kuku, for example, in 2016, one of the major issues going into the election was regards to roads, drainage system, and then all that. So for over 2 years, and your media house followed it. There's a major project in Leja Kuku. That is a link road, or the Lekma road, the road that stretches from La Scala police station all the way to Manet. And for 2 years, since it was a major issue, campaign issue in 2016, the residents expected that as soon as the MPP came to power with the current MP, Honorable Dr. Koboy, they were going to expedite actions on the road and then finish it. However, we didn't see anything like that. Based on the kind of promises that he gave. You would also notice that before the NDC, Honorable Benita Senokitidia left office as Member of Parliament. The road construction works on the road was being done. So when NDC left, everything came to a standstill. And for over 2.5 years, close to 3 years, nothing was done. And then you could see pregnant women getting miscarriage on the road because there's a general hospital on the road. and you look at that stretch in the morning, a lot of school children ply the road, and you see the dust. You go to the Lekma Hospital, you check the number of asthma cases and dust-related illness that affects the constituent. So, of course, it was going to be a major issue. And
but wasn't that road fixed?
On the timing, you see, since it was a major campaign issue in 2016, and then about 3 years in office, and even that, it took residents, it took your media.
I remember, there was a whole campaign that we ran,
Joy FM, Joy TV, Adom, the multimedia group, and other media houses to come to Lekma to also come and help create awareness. After we, the residents, organized a series of demonstrations together with the drivers and then the other stakeholders in the constituency. You get it? So if you look at the timing that the road was constructed, and then the level of work that was supposed to be done, it's about 20%. All MPs have come from the Fourth Republic, from Honorable Ajay Sekan through to Honorable Benita Senakiti. They are contributed their quota to the construction of that road. There's no small road.
But you sacked all of them too.
Yeah, we sacked all of them. It's only Honorable Ajay Sekan who happened to go 2 terms in Lejokuku. I've read a lot of comments on social media. I've listened to some of the news about the residents in Lejokuku that we don't.
Ninote also went for 2 terms, right?
Ninote went once.
Oh, okay.
He went from 2008 to 2012.
Okay, yeah.
Then he handed over the baton.
So I come back to the question. So you voted this way because you just wanted to punish the incumbent.
That's one of the factors, considering the time that they wrote. Because if you listen to Dr. Kuboy, one of his major achievements in Lejokuku has to do with the link road. Then you ask yourself, at what point was the road constructed? What point did he come to work on the road? It was after 3 years. Another major issue had to do with the Homo when the people of Teshi were celebrating the Homo during the COVID. And you know, the restrictions and all that. And then the youth, the normal, traditional Kwanshimo, that's like a Jama thing that we do. And then they were arrested. And the case is still in court, actually.
But what has that got to do with the MP?
No, he's the member of parliament and his party is he's a member of parliament and his party is in power.
Wow.
He's a member of parliament and his party is in power.
Okay.
When the people were arrested, he didn't even visit them at the station. And the case didn't end at the police station. The case proceeded the next day immediately and went to court. Okay, not even the Lekma court. It was sent to the Accra Circuit Court. So all those factors also played a role. And I think that the MP concentrated too much on the link road. Because if you look at all the former MPs that even were given only 4 years, if you want to go more than 4 years in Lejokuku, then you need to do more.
Just hold on a bit for me. Those two, it must scare you. That now the electorate is holding you even more accountable than the executive president now. They sort of... The sort of decisions you're making about you, the MP, it's fascinating.
Which is quite interesting. I mean, in Ghana here, there's a lack of clarity as to what an MP is expected to do, at the local level. And so, if somebody's wife is pregnant, is the MP who should buy the ram for the naming ceremony. And I think we have to move away from that. If a road is not being fixed, if a hospital is not being built, that is a responsibility of central. That's a responsibility.
You know why I didn't ask that question? Because we are tired of asking it. I think now we need to just accept that yes, that's not your responsibility, but the people expect it of you.
No, but that would be asking so much of the MP. The MP can only facilitate.
Yeah,
okay,
but they know that, but they don't care.
Can only, but we need to drum it home until they understand the distinction between what an MP does and what central government ought to be doing.
You just said something that's actually just struck me. What the people have just told us with this hung parliament is they understand what you're saying, but they don't care anymore, and that they want to show you through the hung parliament that do these things for them.
But that's scary.
And stop telling us about facilitation.
But that's scary. In my constituency,
other than that, you have what you just had.
When people were agitating for skirt and blood, we told them that, look, John Mahama cannot deliver all the things we are promising to deliver if he doesn't have the MPs in parliament. And if you make the mistake of voting a hung parliament, whoever is in government would have it very difficult, navigating through. Because even with a hung parliament, business of the house still would have to be government business. It's not going to be minority.
True.
It's not going to be opposition business. It's going to be government business. And if government business doesn't get done, it is a nation that suffers. So voters ought to be very careful with this spirit of skirt and blouse. I do understand that they live with the people, and some of the reasons why they are signed for kicking out MPs are really, really trivial. Not to say that yours is trivial, but
you can say that now because you're not going back to Parliament.
No, but I've said it over the last 4 years.
No wonder you lost your primary.
I've said it over the last 4 years.
They punished you there. Just hold on for me because I want to bring your friend and colleague, Mr. Ramadan. Mr. Ramadan, I mean, does this hang Parliament, the prospect of the next 4 years that you're going to be part of? Does it scare you, excite you, or what is the emotion that you feel looking forward to this very exciting Parliament that we've not seen before?
Well, thank you very much. I believe that it's going to be very exciting, and I think that one thing Ghanaians have said to us is that maybe the polarization of our politics is a bit too much, and Ghanaians would want us to work together, the two major political parties, because some way, somehow, we have to find a way working together to get things done. So I'm sure it's going to be very exciting days ahead. I hope to learn very fast and fit in and see how things are going to pan out.
Does it scare you, though, listening to the residents of Lekma? Do they tell us why he voted and the reasons they voted and the way that the Ghanaians had voted for Parliament, this Parliament with no majority, no minority? Does it tell you the sort of expectations that they have of you? And does that expectation, does that impose a certain burden on your shoulders because you cannot get it wrong?
No, certainly it does. Certainly it does. And I think what's going to water down that a bit will be when we start electing MMDCs, because MMDCs are more people who are responsible for some of these things, but because they are not elected and they are appointed, so people don't really hold them accountable. But all in all, I mean, I'm very sure that I'm going to work with the people of Adenta constituency to get things done. It's going to be challenging, it's going to be very difficult, but together we can do it. Together we can get it done.
I mean, stay with me, I'll come to you, Ras, but also connecting with us right now is Benedict Kwaku. He's a resident of Adenta. Hello, Benedict.
Hello, Evans.
Hi, great to hear you, Benedict. And you have your newly elected member of parliament on the telephone line. Say hi to him.
Hi.
Hi, Benedict. How are you?
I'm good.
Great.
Congratulations on your election.
Thank you very much, my brother. Thank you.
Great. So, Benedict, tell me, I mean, you voted, well, I'm assuming you did vote for Mr. Ramadan?
Nope, Evans, I did not vote.
Sorry, I want to hear him. Did you vote for Ramadan?
No, I did not actually partake in the election.
Oh, you didn't vote, but you are voting age?
Yes, please.
Okay, so but you live in the Adenta?
I live in Adenta.
Do you agree with the verdict of those who actually cast the ballot?
I do, because if I had actually voted, I would have voted against the incumbent, because he made a mistake of fixing a street light in front of my house about 3 weeks to the election, and I found that quite unfortunate.
No, but there's only say it, man. Say it for
him. Well, I mean, this is not to say that I'm really excited that Yabu been lost. But if you were to situate it in real terms, somebody doesn't have lights. An MP facilitates and fixes the lights. And it's a problem.
You punish him for fixing the light.
You punish him for fixing the light.
It's almost the same thing that he told us on the Dukuku, right?
What is happening up and down the country. And the danger is that not only does it, impose a huge burden on the shoulders of members of parliament, but it actually affects legislation. Because then MPs don't get to sit in the house to do the business for which they were elected. They are busy, chasing after one minister or the other to get things done.
Hold on. Benedict, do you care? Do you care about what Ras Mubarak just said? That what you are asking for means the MPs will not be in the house?
I do, but, they made the promises.
Do you still have Benedict? Do you still have Benedict online?
Hello, Evans.
Benedict.
Can you hear me?
Struggling to.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Do you care about what he just said?
I do care. But the point is, they are the same people who come around making promises to do all sort of things for us. So if you do not show up for much of your term and some few weeks to election, you start doing one or two things, hoping that the constituents will vote for you because of that, then you are kidding yourself.
Benedict, stay with me. I mean, but what you said is distractive. So you say you would have voted, of course you didn't get, but if you voted, you would have voted against Barbia Samoa because it fixed a light in front of your street. You say weeks to the elections.
Yeah, about 3 weeks to the election.
And what did that mean to you? Why was that the issue around which you're going to vote against him on?
For much of Wabe's term, he did not do much. He did not do much during his term. But given the fact that he fixed that street light at that moment, it means he could have done it much earlier.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I do not understand why some few weeks to election is the point that he chose to actually do that. He could have done it much earlier, but maybe he wanted, I don't know, the priorities that he had. And it's not just my area. Much of the places around Fafaha got street lights some few weeks to the election, and that's something that I found quite unfortunate.
Okay, so Benedict, as you know, you already have Mr. Ramadan, who is your next member of parliament on the line. You say you would have voted for him. What would you tell him now that he's also going to have a taste of parliament and represent you?
Well, I'll tell him that whether he likes it or yes, people are going to expect development from him. Although he may argue that that's not his responsibility and his is just to make law. But he should make it a point to deliver developmental projects, the roads. He should lobby for them to be fixed, because that's one of the main factors that drives people's vote, development. And also, an elitist behavior is one thing that a lot of electorates dislike. Maybe he may feel, and it's a perception that is around that Adenta is a classic middle class society. But then there are also a lot of people who are living below the middle class. So he should turn his attention to those people, get in touch with them, and it will help him. Because I'm sure in 2024 he's going to have a much tougher candidate than Wabe and Samoa.
Stay with me. Mr. Ramadan, how do you respond to your constituent? He's giving you advice on what he expects of you in the next 4 years.
Evans' point well noted. I mean, there are things I would look at. There are things I would consider. Adenta is a peri-urban constituency, so we have a mixture of the upper class and the lower class. So a one-size-fits-all solution would work for everybody. So yeah, we're going to look at all that and tell the people.
My final question to you: when you hear him say that he would have voted against Barbia Samoa just because he fixed a street light just weeks from an election, what does that tell you about going forward for your own self? What do you read into that?
Well, it just tells me how discerning our electorates are voting right now. I heard similar things being said in the Adenta SNET flats where asphalting was done on the roads weeks before elections. I heard people say that, listen, this bid won't work for them. They've been here all these years. Nothing is being done. And then just a couple of weeks to election, you come in and do this. Doesn't mean you could have done it long ago, but because of the electoral benefits that you want to accrue to you, that's why you left it till late. So, I mean, these are things that I would look at and try and avoid going forward.
But this is the big question. Your party is not in power. I mean, for now, I get it. Let me put that context because you're challenging and disputing the elections, and so we don't know what might happen when you go to court. I mean, but for now, let's work with the current reality. Assuming that the challenge doesn't succeed, you're going to have an MPP executive. your facilitation role will even be limited. Even when you have a Bobby Asamoah had his government, his party in power, and still couldn't get it done until last minute. He's paid for it. He's paid for it. The question is, can you realistically promise that you can deliver on these expectations? So your position is just an impossible one.
It's going to be very difficult, but it's not impossible. It's going to be very difficult, yes, I admit, but it's not impossible.
I am grateful for your honesty. Thank you very much. Benedict, thank you very much also for connecting. Let me come back to the studio. This is exactly what you said also happened in Lekma.
Yeah, you see, it looks like you're trying to hold brief for the new elected members of parliament and even the current members of parliament who retain their seats. I can tell you, if you go around and check the 275 members of parliament during their campaigns, none of them spoke about the fact that about the real work of the legislators in parliament. If you look at their campaign promises or their manifestos in their various constituencies, you see things like vote for me, I'm going to build a hospital, I'm going to construct roads, I'm going to construct gutters, I'm going to make sure that I improve sanitation and all that. So that is what you told the people. You didn't talk to them that you vote for me and I'm going to work well at this committee in parliament. I'm going to work and make sure that good laws are passed in parliament. And if you go around telling your constituents that they should vote for you to do the real work of legislators, I'm not sure they are even going to vote for you, because that is not the bread and butter issues for them.
Let's speak for yourself. Are you saying that if the MP came to you at the campaign and said, vote for me when I go to parliament, I will speak for you, I'll pass good laws, I'll make sure I scrutinize every bill?
I don't need them. It doesn't affect me directly. What affects me directly is the road leading to my house. What affects me directly is proper drainage system in the constituency. It's getting good healthcare system in the constituency. And that's what we want to hear, and that's what they tell us. That's what we want to hear, that's what they tell us. So,
if I may, what the MP does on the floor or at committee actually affects you directly or indirectly. For instance, Parliament approves the budget. MPs make input into the budget, whether it is roads or schools. MPs decide how many roads, we should have in a particular given year. So whatever we're doing in Parliament actually affects you.
So in that case, you're speaking on behalf of the constituents. So, for example, approving certain laws and the budget and all that in Parliament, you need to come and ask us as constituents that what is our take on these issues. For 4 years, you don't see members of Parliament
that I agree
coming
a
back
lot of
to
MPs
us
don't
and
do.
telling us that this is a bill before them in Parliament and they need to pass it. What do we make of it? Because all the members of Alejo Kuku, those who voted, they can register over 151,000. We cannot all go to Parliament. That's why you elected one person. So if you are saying you're speaking for us and you want to do the real work of legislators, they should be meeting stakeholders of the constituency to be seeking our views on certain laws that are going to be passed. But you don't pass it. You pass them from your own thoughts. And you think it's going to affect us directly. Who told you that even voting yes or no for that particular bill or something is what we...
But the man comes and is Honorable Mami Nokofio, obviously.
That's what I'm saying. That so the pressing issues are the things that affect us directly. Okay. The bread and butter ones, your presence at the outdooring ceremony. For my constituency, you go to the southern side, get into the seaside, you need to be there at outdooring ceremonies, you need to be there at funerals, you need to give Nokofio and then all that. It's a mixture.
The reality, this is the reality. This is it.
But I think that the media... The reality is that it's unsustainable. The reality is that it's going to run this country to the ground. The reality is that corruption is going to fester.
The reality is that we have a hung parliament.
The reality is that we may not have good
parliament
laws.
is going to be very interesting and it's going to benefit us a lot. Because parliament is not going to be a rubber stamp where the majority or the executive just bring their stuff. Even when minority are raising important concerns, issues about whoever is going to be passed, be the budget, be bills and that.
Should we just admit, and I was asking the question of, and I like his politically correct answer. The MP's job is an impossible job in Ghana right now.
Absolutely impossible.
You should just go in.
Absolutely impossible.
If you are not in Ashanti or Volta.
Yeah, or some parts of the country.
Even in Ashanti or Volta, you will lose primaries.
Well, yeah. Let me bring in Force. Force is the man who just dropped from the UK. Were you here? Did you vote?
No. Actually, I missed it.
Oh, you did it.
I
Okay.
missed it.
But you come. Okay, let me go. I want to go to the UK Parliament website because I wanted to get their definition by hung Parliament.
Oh well, I could give it to you.
Well, I mean, just read it. I mean, because before I bring it, and then he says the UK Parliament says a hung Parliament is when no single political party wins a majority in the House of Commons. It is also known as a situation of no overall control.
Thank you.
Which is what we
majority.
have. Okay, so you just came from the UK. You're Ghanaian also. You have a voting. You can also vote in Ghana. So you are watching this play out in Ghana. You're thinking.
Well, thank you very much, Evans. To be quite honest with you, what really kills me when I look at the way that we're accepting the hung Parliament situation here is the fact that everybody's scared of the unknown. Mm-hmm. And we've always been used to the fact that, this person is coming in. We know the majority. It happened in the UK for the first time as well when Cameron and the Prime Minister Cameron and Nick Clegg were the two parties. And the two very far away parties had to marry themselves just to create a government. Mm. And it's because they wanted to rule. A hung Parliament can be a good thing. We should stop looking at it as...
Tell me what's good about it.
What is good about it is it brings everybody to the table.
Okay.
And a hung Parliament makes sure that the politicians do listen to each other because they're not sure that they're going to win whatever they table to whatever motion they table. Because you have to bring people. And before you get people to vote for a motion that you've tabled, you have to explain it to them. That is what we don't do in Ghana because we know we have a majority. We've told, and then when people are talking,
minority to have their say, the majority to have their way.
That's it. But it's a good point. Except that it could lead to gridlock.
That was my next point.
All right.
It tends to lead to gridlocks as well, where people are at loggerheads and nothing can be done. And it's a good thing and it can be a bad thing. But one thing that he said he said loads of things, but one thing that we don't do in Ghana that is very common in the UK is MPs do not just turn up to meetings or adorings or funerals. They have surgeries where the constituents come in and speak to them about things that worry them. It's something I don't see in Ghana. The only time you see an MP is when they've gone to an occasion and where they are expected to throw money around. And that is wrong. Because it is wrong. Hang on.
It's wrong.
It is very wrong.
Yeah, but it's wrong. But that's the theory.
No. In reality, it's wrong.
Ghanaian vote that it doesn't. Do you care?
I don't care.
What don't you care? You said what when they're making laws, it doesn't affect you. So why do you hang on?
It doesn't affect me directly.
Something that doesn't affect you directly. Okay, let me just explain something. As a resident, before a road in your area can be built, they can be like constructed is the word. Thank you very much for a better use of a better word. One thing has to happen. They have to write the whole processes of roads they want to build. It has to go to Parliament. They have to budget for it. And now once the budget is allocated for the roads, your MP has to lobby for his to be done. So whatever you say, what he says at the budget meeting, for example, because MPs don't just go to Parliament to go and sit down there and talk only about their constituencies. No, they are part of groups. Or what's it called? Budget, they have a committee. Various committees they have to be part of. Yeah. And that is the most important bit. You have to know where your MP plays a part. That is where you can hold him to book if something there hasn't gone your way or hasn't come to your constituency.
But if that doesn't work in Ghana.
No, Evans, that's what we need to start doing. Let me ask you a question, Evans.
Of majority of residents. You see, I'm just speaking the mind of majority of residents, and I followed.
But that's my whole point to you.
I followed
what you're saying is the ideal, right?
No,
but it just on the ground. This is the actual representation of why people are voting. They don't care about all these things you do in the committee.
But you're missing the point. They do care.
But he's telling you he doesn't care.
I'm telling you, if they did not care, they wouldn't vote a hung Parliament in.
No, that is
the bit you're missing.
When we're voting as residents or constituents, we didn't have in mind that we're voting for
a hung Parliament.
What we had in mind was in that, for example, at my end, this man has not performed well, and I think this man is in touch with the grassroots. Let me vote for him. At the end of the day, when you take all the regions, constituencies together, you bring them together. This is where we've arrived.
But so when you do that without complementing it with the presidential, for instance, if you vote for a president,
that means you care.
You vote for President A, and decide to vote for a candidate.
Party B. Words were they throwing around now? Sketch and blouse. I didn't know what that was.
Which is what we've had. So a lot of people voted for the NDC candidates in Parliament, but they voted for Nonado.
It means they care.
Not quite.
No, honorable.
Not quite.
Because if you look at the number of MPP losses in parliamentary level,
that's quite a lot.
Why do you? Yeah, but that's what I'm making. So they're voting a lot for you.
Yes.
Your NDC colleagues, but they're not voting for John Mahama.
No, I disagree with that. I disagree with that based on the figures that we have.
Oh no, okay, I get it. I mean, I think I have said that.
We don't have to muddy waters.
Yeah, I've said that caveat.
Just leave it at
everything I say.
Presidential candidate.
Assume that caveat is there.
Absolutely.
Okay, that caveat. We are working.
I'm struggling with that one because
it's okay. Let's put that.
It has to be put in context, in the proper context.
I agree with you. But I'm saying that working with what we see right now, with the numbers that EC have declared, it appeared that's what was happening.
What it means is that a lot of the MPs didn't live up to expectations.
Yeah, so you kick them out.
But the point is about what expectation, not what for.
Not what is in the national interest. What is in the national interest is for the MPs to be in Parliament and get the business of running the country done. The business of having to attend funerals or outdoor is secondary. If the MP
it's tertiary, not even secondary.
No, it's secondary.
Yeah, to me it's tertiary.
Very well.
See, you guys are you're using secondary, you're using tertiary. But for the guy who's voting,
he says it's primary.
It's
but
primary.
I was going to explain that part. If you give me 1 minute, because I see as tertiary, the reason being, he said something that we just missed totally. He said the person they voted for was in tune with the grassroots. Yeah. Who are the grassroots? It means he was listening to them. When you are in tune with somebody, you listen to them. Yeah. And that is what is happening with the MPs. They don't listen because the moment they get that position, they think you have to control them. And it doesn't work that way.
No, that's not quite true.
It is. I've seen it. I've seen it with my eyes in Ghana. And I will bet my last pesewa on it.
It is the demands, the unrealistic demands from, that is the reality. Look at how MPs have lost their seats from both sides. Safe seats, have just gone away.
That language should be stopped. There's nothing called safe seats in politics.
There are safe seats, even in the UK. There are very...
Well, they still lost.
In Westminster, you can have...
Labour lost loads of seats. Absolutely. They said it was safe.
Hoy.
Tell me about it. Tell me about it.
Hoy is a fiction.
So that's what I'm saying. Back to his point.
There's nothing called safe seat in politics.
The voter of 2020 is telling you that there's nothing like safe seat anymore.
But look at the factors that culminated into the Hoy thing. Why
are you calling it a Hoy thing?
No, because it's a phenomenon. Because it's an exception. I mean, Peter Meu, high up there, Minister, Energy, Cabinet. I mean, he punches above his weight. He's done.
What are you insinuating? I'm sorry, it's just
he's getting to a point that I guess will reinforce his point. Go on.
Yeah, he's done loads of things there that, if you were to look at it on the face of it, could say it's been disproportionately distributed. It's the national cake. I go to
Was he lobbying for his people though?
I go to Karaga.
No, he's actually making a point.
I go to Karaga
about the resources that Amewu had pumped in there,
and not just in Hohoi.
By Karaga.
I go to Karaga.
His deputy.
And my goodness,
you saw the development.
It's offensive actually.
To
think that the national cake would be distributed unevenly like that.
No, but you're saying that people in Karaga were getting more development than they deserve.
No, I'm saying that if there are 1,000 street lights to be distributed, and one constituency alone get about 800, that's problematic.
Well,
if Maslock loans are to be given, and Yendi alone gets a number that the rest of the constituencies in the northern region don't get, that should be worrying.
But you see, just a point there that reinforces the point he's making. That the point he's making is that it is because of these developmental things that
but it's going to get us into a rat race.
Well, but that is what the people want. You give it to them.
Where people would come to Parliament because they know by being MPs they can get ministerial appointments.
So they can get the power to deliver the street lights.
They can get the power for themselves and not actually do. I mean, how would you explain the loss of many ministers and deputies?
That's true, though.
How would you explain that?
Well, false.
You see, you've made 2 points in one, and I just want to take it apart because you said the national cake. Are you saying that all the other MPs did not know, or other people did not know that this was a national cake.
But somebody's controlling the levels of power at the ministry of one minister or the other.
It is always going to be like that. And we've known that from time immemorial.
Or just about everything to one constituency, we ought to be worried about it as a country.
What I am saying is, I get that. That person had a choice to do the right thing. But he was between peers. They could have reprimanded him and say, listen, this is 100%. This is what we have. We know we have 10 people. We need 10 here. So you can't take 80 here. And that is where that person who did that knew the importance of developing his constituents because they were in tune with their grassroots. He knows. And I don't want us to think that there is something called a safe seat because in the UK.
Go on.
In the UK, it really hit the Labour Party where it hurt.
In 2010, yeah.
Not just that. And also, the party that went into coalition with the Lib Dems, they also lost loads of seats.
But they lost it because they were in coalition.
Thank you.
They were with the Conservatives.
But I have a final question as we wrap up. So, I've heard many people say we have a hung parliament because they voters.
Is it really a hung parliament?
It is a hung parliament, officially.
It is because NDC and people they are split in the middle.
Even Stevens, but
absolutely.
But even Stevens with this one person that can be the kingmaker.
So of course we are looking at technically.
Okay.
NDC and PP.
137 apiece.
137 apiece. This independent guy has already said where he's going to be voting, so that will come to the. But even then, we'll come to the small matter of who is majority, who is minority, because that then becomes. But the question I want to ask
them
is
opposition.
Good. The question I want to ask is that a lot of people say that this hung parliament, the Ghanaians put that in place because they were tied with executive control of the House, and they wanted something that would get Parliament to talk more. And nobody can rubber stamp. But I'm listening to everything that has been said.
But in 10 seconds, can I tell you why that is?
Tell me.
That is because of the constitutional architecture. We're beating about the bush. Okay. You have a constitution that says majorities of MPs must come from Parliament.
Yeah, but even that, what it means is this hung Parliament will make it impossible. We'll make it possible for that.
Majority of ministers must come from Parliament.
We'll make it impossible for the current government to do that.
Yeah. No,
because if you appoint majority, a lot of them are going to be working.
Thank you.
They need to be in the House so that you
It
pass
will
things.
force people.
Per the structures of Parliament, they would set aside a date where they vote. So they know that every Thursday in the month.
And they're going to be whipped.
And
so you tell the president and the chief of staff that make sure that no
minister's got appointment outside.
But the question. I mean, when I hear governance people say, well, hung parliament is good because you said it, that it's going to force us to debate, it's going to make our democracy richer. Isn't it a facade? Because that is not the real intention I'm hearing of the voter. That's not why when we went to the booth to vote, we're not thinking about getting government to work effectively in the checks. They're thinking about which of these guys I'm going to put there who's going to give me something for my benefit.
No, you're absolutely right. I don't think...
So my point is, this thing that we are saying, we're crediting the Ghanaian voter for voting hung parliament because they wanted some, good democratic whatever.
No.
That really wasn't the intention I'm hearing in why you said it, right? In why he voted like that when he entered the booth. The guy we spoke to from Adenta confirmed this one. And I'm sure if you open the phone lines, a lot of them will be honest and tell you, we didn't think about, Ghana's democracy. We needed parliament to be...
No, it's about the MPs not coming home frequently.
Bottom line.
Those
bottom line. And so far as that is the case, we'll continue having MPs not doing the business even in this hung parliament because they'll be leaving parliament to go and do what you're fearing will happen.
Absolutely. But one of the things we can do for the interest of the country would be to have clear separations of powers. Yeah. And that would happen if ministers are not coming from parliament. And I'm longing to see that happen.
I want to read a few of your messages coming through right now. Evans, perhaps this hung parliament will better serve Ghana. Parliament has been one big failure and Ghanaians are gradually waking up. Charles in Legon centers that one. Another one says, with current composition of the 8th parliament, we the electorate are sending a signal to the two major parties that we are tired of them having their way. We want the minority to stop walking out of the parliament and the majority having his way. But there's nothing like minority and majority in a way. I'll ask you what it will be shortly. They should stay in the house and work. Evans, if people go independent, The delegates will sit up and choose the person the constituency wants and not who the delegates decide to choose. Skirt and blouse actually worked. The MPs campaigned, pounding fufu, washing ladies' hair, and stepping into gutters to work with the people to impress. But when they win, you don't see them until another election year. So we voted to reject old faces that do that. Kojo says, I wanted Boniface out and Francis Xavier in because he was hungrier for the job. Boniface didn't care about losing. He thinks he, quote, never goes into opposition. That's interesting. Philip in North Legon says, Evans, why do you conclude there will be no clear majority or minority in the parliament when the parliamentary election results of Techiman South is also? And I get it. Sikan are still being contested, of course. I mean, as I said, caveat. All these things we wait to happen, but as it stands now, that is what we have. Okay, so those are views. Let me end with this minority.
So it's going to be called opposition. You know, as in the UK, for instance, where we borrowed all these parliamentary practices. So opposition and government instead of minority and majority.
So the opposition in parliament.
The opposition in parliament.
Opposition and government. That's
and
it.
government.
You don't have a minority.
Because you can't.
So we say the opposition. Do we have to qualify with the government? No,
you don't.
Just say the government.
Yeah.
Because in parliament.
One is government and one is government, one is opposition. That's what it is.
But the standing order has that got that in it?
Interestingly, in the UK, with their unorthodox or unwritten constitution, they have made provisions
for that. But this our Ghana
based on their history from 1940.
Yeah, but we don't have that in your standing order.
We don't have that in our standing.
You still have majority leader,
so
minority leader.
You have majority leader, minority leader in the standing orders, and you can't call them same. Probably leader of the opposition, leader of government, business.
Yeah, but this is actually a big point, right? Because standing order governs parliament.
No, but currently we are even amending the standing orders. We should have it passed
before the 8th parliament begins.
Yes, before the 8th parliament begins, we're going to have a new standing orders.
Okay, great. Yes. Thank you very much. Thank you, Force. We're going to come back again next week. You're in town?
I'm in town.
Okay, great. Because today I saw you pretty late. But I'm grateful that you joined me from Lejokuku. This new MP, his notice has been served to him. You served him notice.
He's got good human relations as well. He's in touch with the grassroots.
That's very important.
One of the key reasons why Dr. Kubai lost was because he wasn't in touch with the grassroots. And his human relations wasn't too good. Aside the developmental flaws that he had. He didn't do one more than any of them. Okay. But then...
Well, let's see. Let's see what happened in the 4 years.
But I should take a cue from that and I'm sure he'll go far.
And take notice. I'm grateful, gentlemen. We're going to come back on this conversation definitely because very exciting times ahead in the next 4 years. This has been Ghana Connect. The lads are taking over with an interesting locker room conversation with George Addo Jr.